What's up, guys? Josh Vogel here, back with Stop Being Fat Part 2. So, my last video caught a lot of heat online, and I had some pages on Instagram and stuff reporting me and telling me I'm a hateful, terrible human being, and I actually don't seem to think so, and a majority of you guys don't seem to think so. But if you are easily offended and you want to call me a terrible, terrible person, do so in the comment box below. But I do encourage you to watch this video in full and realize that I'm not here to just hate on people who are overweight, but I'm actually wanting to encourage and help people. So, let's begin. So, we're jumping right into the lines in here, guys, and I just want to start this video off by saying that obesity isn't healthy. And before you get your fingers all in a hurry trying to type some mean comment towards me, just hear me out for a second. Obesity is associated typically with people who do not exercise and make very poor dietary lifestyle choices. And there's no way you can try to make that into something that's good for somebody. Being sedentary and eating very poorly, that's like the one thing we know that's going to be very negative for your health. And with heart disease being the #1 killer in the United States, this is a severe issue. And there's also tons of other health risks associated with this, as you can see here on the screen. On the screen here we have a study, and it talks about how obesity and diabetes are leading causes of death in the United States. Obesity is closely associated with heart disease. Heart disease, like I just said, is the #1 killer, and diabetes, also being correlated with obesity and severe weight gain, is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. This should be very alarming to you, especially if you're someone who falls into this category, because your health is literally at risk and it's also in your control. And when I say it's in your control, I'm going to pull up here on the screen a study that talks about how people who have type 2 diabetes, hypertension, or suffer with hyperlipidemia experience positive health benefits from modest weight loss. And modest weight loss is something that everyone should try to strive for if you are in this situation. And I'm going to pull up here again on the next screen that when it comes to improving your health, just exercise and better dietary choices are your best bet. It's something so simple, and it's something that's completely in your control. And I do mean it when I say I care about your health. That's why I'm making these videos. That's why I'm wearing a shirt that says "Stop Being Fat," because for some people, telling them is probably going to be the best way for them to realize it. I had a woman I worked with at a gym in the past, and she was unaware of actually how out of shape she was until I told her to just step up on about I think it was like a 5-inch block. And I said, just pretend that's a stair and just walk upstairs. Step up and step down and alternate legs. She went for about 20 seconds our first time together, and she was out of breath and had to sit down. There's nothing cool about that. There's nothing healthy about that. She was a very large woman, and it's something that really saddened me. And that's actually when I really started to dive into, okay, what's the deal with obesity? How unhealthy is it really? And that's when I started finding all this crazy stuff about people just thinking it's the okay thing to do, thinking that it's empowering women for some reason to just let them be overweight. And I mean, this woman that I worked with, there was nothing empowering about that. I mean, she couldn't even walk up one flight of stairs without wanting to sit down because she felt so sick and winded. And I mean, how are you going to be empowered if you can't even go up a flight of stairs? What are you going to do? And women specifically, you have a much higher risk of getting certain types of cancers. You're a much greater risk of metabolic syndrome. You can get polycystic ovarian syndrome. There are gender-specific illnesses related with obesity and being severely overweight that are really concerning, especially for pregnancies. And there are major risks associated with obesity and pregnancy. For example, looking at this abstract here, this is the bottom part of the abstract that I found online, which says that maternal obesity is associated with many risks to the pregnancy, with increased risk of miscarriage 3-fold in operative delivery in the obese and morbidly obese groups. This is crazy. You're bringing a child into this world, and you're already risking their life just because of your obesity issue. And that's crazy to me. And as you can see here, this is the top part of the abstract, that for the actual mother herself, if you're overweight and obese, that you will go through some sort of metabolic change, as well as have reduced insulin sensitivity and increased insulin resistance during that pregnancy. And this is going to make it much harder for you to lose weight in the long run. This is saddening because you want to work on your health and you want to better yourself, but it's going to make it so much harder for you. With all the health risks associated with severe weight gain and obesity, it truly troubles me to see our society try to accept this as a sort of norm. And they get mad at individuals who try to call people out about this. That's why I believe I caught so much flack. There's a sort of norm people are trying to push, and that norm is it's okay to be severely overweight, it's okay to be obese. Make people comfortable in their own skin. I am all for body positivity, and I am all for you feeling comfortable in your own skin. But when your body is literally trying to kill itself off faster because of the way you're living, because of the choices that you're making with your eating and your lack of exercise, then no. That is actually not okay, and that is not empowerment. It's the complete opposite of empowerment. Want to know what empowerment is? Empowerment is taking control of your life. It's making better, positive, healthy choices and getting yourself in a better position than you previously were. Not taking yourself from a situation and then making yourself worse and making your health worse. That is exactly what we shouldn't want to do as human beings. That's not how we should live life. So, how do you go about this? How do you start making these healthy choices? Simple. It starts with just eating and making better food choices. And example, McDonald's. We can look at McDonald's here up on the screen. I'm going to pull it up. We have the calories for McDonald's. This is a McDouble, a Coke regular, and a small fry. It sits at about 820 calories for a meal with just over a gram of sodium. You're looking at about 117 carbs, 30 grams of fat, and 25 grams of protein. This is just a small meal for somebody. Most people I know would get 2 McDoubles and probably a medium or large fry. But when you compare it to something healthier, this would be a meal, say you cook at home. This is 150 grams of raw chicken breast, which provides about 34 grams of protein. Some Alexia sweet potato fries. These are store-bought fries you can get. You just bake them in your oven, and it's got 24 grams of carbs, only 5 grams of fat, and a Diet Coke, which has nothing in it. And this is just an easy way to really cut down your calories. Now you're only looking at about 305 calories, and that's a huge, huge step in the right direction. Now imagine doing that for 3 meals per day. You're cutting your calories by over 1,000 calories per day just by that, and you're still getting more protein, you're getting healthier, more nutritious options into your diet, and it's going to be better for you in the long run. And that's just something so simple. And I get a lot of people, you may not have time to cook or things like that, but cook for a few days in advance. Invest in a crock pot. You can cook 4 pounds of chicken in a crock pot, and that's going to last you forever. Eating only 150 grams of it per meal, so you would have plenty of food for quite a while, and you have no cooking. Just put it in a crock pot, put some water, season it. It's that simple, and you let it cook while you sleep. You can cook it every day, so it's as fresh as you want it to be. But those little things make a huge, huge difference. And even if you still wanted to eat out and you want a McDonald's, say, I have no time in the world, but apparently you have time to sit in the McDonald's drive-thru. But you want to go to McDonald's still, get a grilled McChicken, I think they're called there, and get like apple slices, like I said, and just get a water. That right there is still cutting your calories. Is it your best option? No. But it's a step in the right direction. And when overcoming obesity and being severely overweight, it's all about little steps. Things aren't going to happen overnight, I know. It's all about a lifestyle change. And that's the biggest part in all of this, is changing your lifestyle. And as long as you're taking steps in the right direction every week and every month, you're going to get where you need to get. And that's the cool part about this, is start logging what you do. Start taking pictures. You don't have to show those pictures to anybody, but keep them for yourself. And 6 months down the road, 1 year, 2 years down the road, you're going to look back and be like, holy crap, I looked like that, or I was in that type of shape. And same thing if you start exercising. Walk. Just walk around your neighborhood. If you can walk without stopping, awesome. Maybe take another lap, but just start with, say, 10 minutes a day. And then next day, try 12, and so, or and so forth. And just try to increase how much you exercise, because that is part of the little steps. Eating better and start exercising. And maybe eventually, if you don't feel comfortable now, or if you do, get a gym membership. Just start with something small. Light weights, just something to get your body moving. And progressively start training heavier and doing more complex things in the gym after you feel comfortable. And that's the important part of all of this, is making this your lifestyle change. Not just changing for 2 months and going back to your old habits, but making this something that's permanent and going to help you out for the rest of your life. Because the habits you learn now are the habits that you're going to also teach your kids. You don't want your kids to have all these, because they're just as prone to all these health related risks that you are. And the issue is you don't want an 8-year-old who's a diabetic because he's eating like crap all the time. I know kids are born diabetic, and I'm sorry, and I wish that wasn't the case. But if you cause that yourself because you're not monitoring what they eat, then I'm sorry, but that's terrible parenting. And in a way, I mean, that can be considered child abuse. For these kids are so unhealthy, and they're developing such a high risk for these diseases that it has to be stopped. So learn good habits and start making this your lifestyle, because 2, 3, 4 years from now, you're going to really look back and wish that you would have if you didn't start today. So I want to wrap all this up and give you a few takeaway points. The first being, don't give up. Remember that consistency is key. This is a long-term process that you're starting, and this is something that is going to take time and it's going to take dedication. Be ready for that. Be ready for setbacks. Be ready for those times where you're going to fail. But for every 10 steps you take forward, you may have 1 or 2 steps backwards. Just make sure after you have those backward steps that you continue moving forward and going in the right direction. And whatever I can do to help, feel free to email me, reach out, whatever it is. I'm willing to help you out any way that I possibly can. That's why I'm doing these videos, is not to just poke fun, but to actually help. So feel free to reach out, and I'm available whenever you need me. The last thing I want to send home with you is this. Having the perfect body doesn't necessarily mean that you have the perfect health. Whatever models you look up to, whatever professional athletes, whoever it may be, it doesn't necessarily mean that just because they look a certain way means that they have the perfect health. What should matter for you most is when you go to the doctor, are you pre-diabetic? Do you have high blood pressure? How's your blood work look? That's the stuff that should really matter, because the whole point of all this is making sure you are in a better position, not are you looking more like somebody else. No, you should want to look like the best and healthiest version of you, whether that be big muscles, no muscles, whatever it is. Make sure your health is first and foremost. So I just want to end with that, and I want to say thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave comments, questions, or concerns in the comment box below. And for whatever reason, if you hate this and hate me and think I'm a terrible person, leave those too. I get a kick out of them, and I'll probably respond to you. So once again, guys, thanks for watching. If you really liked it, like and subscribe to my channel.